Back with you once again is OG Blade Reviews. Welcome. Hope you are returning, but if you're here for the first time, welcome. And what I do is tabletop knife reviews. Probably going to expand that when the weather gets a little better. We can do some outdoor stuff. Yeah, you get to see my smiley face. Working on it. Trying to diversify a little bit and try some different things. Been doing this for quite a few years, and thank you those of you who have signed on recently as subscribers and are helping the channel grow. I've got a lot of experience and background with blades, particularly as they relate to the martial arts, Chinese martial arts, Filipino martial arts, and a little bit of Japanese and Indonesian martial arts. So here we are. This is something new from North Mountain Blade. North Mountain Blade is a very interesting company that has been banking their success on providing tanto style blades, that is, traditional style tanto blades, not necessarily chisel ground Americanized tantos, not that they're bad, and doing them in a SLD-Magic, which is a layered steel, three-layered San Mail style steel. So they're using a Japanese three-layered steel on most, if not all, of their knives. And this is yet another one. This is quite special. Special because they provided it in this nice little Pelican-style case. And look at that. So a little different presentation from them. In terms of like the 4 or so knives that I've experienced from them. And this one is referred to as the, what is it referred to as? The Williams, Kickstop Chop. It's a tricky name, so why couldn't I remember that? Well, because I've been doing quite a few knife reviews late 2024 and early 2025 here in February of 2025. Not to date the video, but I guess I'm dating the video. It's got a date on it anyway. Kickstop Chop. So the difference between this and all their other chops, and by the way, this is the Kickstop Chop Plus. And why is it plus? Well, because it's a big one. It's a big knife. Check it out. I got an inch and a half left over in my medium large paw. And it's got almost a 4-inch blade. So that's quite a bit different from ones that have come ahead of it, such as the button lock chop here. Also in SLD-Magic San Mail steel. But you can see that we've got a longer blade here and seemingly a bit taller. Well, we'll do the measurements later on, so no biggie. But you can certainly see the handle is bigger. And the other thing you're going to notice, I'll talk more about this one, but there's a review out on it already. This is not a button lock. This is in a hidden liner lock sort of a configuration. And they're putting it out in about, looks like 5 or 6 different handle scales. It has steel liners. As I said, they're hidden. This heavily milled and scalloped handle that when they give you the multicolored G10 here, you get a beautiful pattern that looks like a snake skin. Which snake? I'm not sure. Maybe python? Could be python. I know I had a G10 that they referred to as python that Dirk Pinkerton did a really nice custom out of for me. So here you can see the, it's kind of a fake hamon, I believe, usually with this detail here, this design is usually a forge line on a traditional tanto where they use clay and they differentially harden that edge so that the edge becomes hard and the scales are softer and provide more strength overall for the blade. But you can see that this is a thick blade. I believe I spec'd it out at 4.5 millimeters or 0.16 inches, and I think we'll get the same reading today when I do the specs. But really interesting. You got the one thing I noticed on this one that I haven't seen on their other ones is I got kind of a little booger here. But what that is when they put that line in, and I believe they etch that in somehow, even though this truly is a 3-layer steel, this work here is done afterwards. So we've got the hamon, which is that temper line. We've got a bead blast here, very nice, and we've got a satin horizontal brushed finish on the flat. That's three different textures, three different blade treatments that you see. Here is Lee Williams' Kickstop logo. Now that means that on this knife, notice you don't see a flipper tab, you don't see a flipper tab, you don't see a flipper tab. And now keep watching. There comes the flipper tab. But it's not attached to the blade, is it? It's its own little part in there that connects to the blade so that when it's closed, it protrudes. The other little, some very small issue I have with this is that I have other Kickstop knives, and this one has just a tiny little bit of play in there that may or may not bother you. It doesn't influence the way that it works at all. And the fact that this is a non-frame lock knife, you can hold it in either hand and use that flipper tab equally well with the left or the right hand. We do not have a provision for left-hand carry, unfortunately. This is right-hand only tip-up carry. It is not a deep carry. The clip, and I have to thank, by the way, Nathan Contra from K. Nathan Knives to give me some of the specs on this and also provide a discount code of his for 10%, which I used in order to pick this up. So it brought the $130 price down less $13, so about $117, which was quite nice. But that is a titanium clip. It's not a milled titanium clip. It's more of a sheet metal flexible titanium clip, which I like because most milled titanium clips don't have much flex to them and they can be a little bit stiff. We've got also a very nice hidden lanyard feature that's part of the backspacer. Have a very short backspacer there. What is that backspacer? I believe it's steel. I don't think they're going to give you titanium there on a $130 knife, but who knows? It is a thicker handle, and before I talk more about dimensions, let's measure the whole thing so you know what we're dealing with here. And then we're going to bring back the other chop for compare. But the overall on this knife is 8 3/4 inches, just a little shy of that, but we'll call it 8 3/4. And you see how we're coming up on 4 inches there, but it's not quite. So I'm calling it, I did previously call it 3.85. Let's call it 3.9. And then if we measure the blade, that is perfectly 3 3/4 on the cutting edge. So right in that 4-inch territory, certainly. Let's bring out the calipers, and we're set to inches. Here we go. Yeah, it's 0.72. It's a fat handle. The original here, button lock, exactly 1/2 inch. So although, I say this quite often, although it's wide, it's contoured. So what I'm measuring at that extreme width there is the outer portion of the handle. In here, you're not going to feel it quite so much, but it is hand filling, okay? It is hand filling, and you may or may not enjoy that if you don't want something fairly wide in your pocket. If you don't care, like me, then it's fine, you know. Getting into the thickness of the blade stock, 0.16, as I said, and I think I got 4.5 millimeters. Yeah, we're going to call that 4.5 millimeters. And let's set it up for some weight here, and it is very drop shutty for a knife of this type. Don't know what that means, but it's drop shutty. It is 5.7 ounces, rounding down. 5.7 ounces. So really not as heavy as you would think, because they are using weight relieving inside. See if I can get my flashlight out of my pocket. There we go. There's your skeletonizing inside. Very nice. And let's see if I can pull up the website for North Mountain and show you some of the handle variations. So here you can see the North Mountain Blade website. And by the way, their shipping has become super fast. Initially, back some time ago when I got my very first knife from them, maybe a year and a half ago or so, it took about 10 days or so, California to the East Coast. And this one took 2 days. So crazy. And there's nothing extra you're paying for shipping, and there are no taxes. So that's pretty good. Here are some of their other ones you've come out with recently. There are some pricier blades up in the $200 to $300 range. Their fixed blade tanto is gorgeous. They make like a 9-inch bladed fixed blade for $300. And with the SLD-Magic steel, that's not bad. Now here we go. Here are the Kickstop Chop Plus blades. And we've got this kind of a desert tan. We've got this other variant on the multi-layered snakeskin sort of look. Here's the one that I picked up. By the way, it was my own purchase. This was not provided for review. We've got a green, and we've got the red. That's what Nathan showed on his channel. And then we get really fancy. This is something else. This is their Chop Classic and so forth. So we've got the red variant. We've got the green variant. We've got the two multi-layered snakeskin sort of variants. And we've got the tan variant. So all coming in at $130. I would say that is a great price for this knife. Might be too much for you. It is not in the budget category, but it's certainly not in the high-end category either. And the question would be at this point, why not at this point? Because there's a point. Is it sharp? Oh yeah, it's hollow ground, by the way. If I didn't mention that, it's a thick steel, but it is a deep hollow grind on the main edge and flat grind here. So you've got that beautiful compound grind going on. And oh yeah, I mean, wow. I believe their last knife was pretty sharp too. Technique sort of deteriorates there, so we don't want to keep going on into failure now, do we? Let's bring out the button lock chop of the standard size. And you can see if I put them right next to each other there, that's a big knife. That is, here we got, what, a 3.4, 3.5. Actually, it's a bit more than that. It's like a 3.6, 3.65, something like that. And overall 8 inches. So overall 8 inches versus overall 8 3/4. 3/4 of an inch longer, but it will feel bigger, particularly since we've got the thinner handle on the original. This, by the way, is a heavy knife because of the handle material. It is aluminum bronze alloy. So it is almost the weight of straight bronze, but it's got aluminum mixed in there as an alloy somehow or other. When I first bought it, I thought I was getting an aluminum handle that was bronzed anode, but nope, no such luck. It's a heavier knife, and it's heavier than I expected, but it's still a beautiful knife, and it's a very nice button lock with a tiny bit of stick, but very nice action on that. Speaking of action, the action on this guy is superb. Nice clack when it comes out, and beautiful drop shot action. It's on bearings, yes. There's jimping there on the flipper tab, but you know what? If they ran it up a little further here, it might be better. It's a fine jimping, and it's not that aggressive, but you've got a nice platform there. If you push on it, you can have no problems getting it out. For compare, here's the Griptilian. Benchmade Griptilian. And if we get them even at the pommel end, you can see that we've got an inch longer overall on the Kickstop Chop Plus, and we've got at least a ½ inch longer or so on the blade. How about against the venerable Rat 1, Ontario Rat 1? Well, about the same length, I would say. About the same blade. Yeah. And I always seem to be measuring the Rat 1 as long. And it's actually a shorter blade and handle, like a 5-inch handle. I think we've probably got close to that here. Yeah, a little under a 5-inch handle. So slightly longer handle on the Rat 1. That's what kind of allows it to show off its size. Now there are other Kickstop knives. See if I can find one for you. I took a little trip over to the knife stash and came up with this guy, which I got as a special from Blade HQ. And these were coming in only around 200. You guessed it, it's the Chavez Redencion 229 in Kickstop version. Wouldn't hurt to get it in the frame here. And there you can see same logo, Lee Williams Kickstop. It's frame lock. So you can do a Kickstop and a frame lock. You can do a Kickstop and a liner lock. And there is the hidden flipper tab. This one has no play, and I like the jimping a little better. So that would be nice if we could get an improvement on the chop, Kickstop chop, to have a flipper tab a little more aggressive like that. I'm bleeding. The previously healed cut, that's what happens when you're working on a back flipper. You can see the thicker stock, well, very close to the same stock, huh? On the Chavez. Oh, it's, let's try that again. More like 4 millimeters as opposed to 4.5. So thicker stock here. And you can see that in the flipper tab to a degree as well. The flipper tab tends to be the same thickness as the blade stock. And yeah, I took the skull clip off. Not into skull stuff, what can I tell you? I know there's various meanings to skulls, but to me they mean you're dead. Well, let me know what you think of the Kickstop Chop, mouthful, Plus from North Mountain Knives. I think it's a beautiful blade. for 130 bucks, that's really hard to beat. You may have more of a budget level budget, and you may not want to get into this, but they are making some fantastic stuff, and their models are increasing, I would say, almost by the month. So kudos to North Mountain Blade and this new offering. I might mention that we've got some nice titanium surrounds here. Nathan pointed that out as well, and we've got this really nice little feature on the pivot there. T8s all the way around, by the way, should you want to know. And I probably missed one or two details, but I think if I hit every single detail, they're probably going to be half hour or better on all my reviews, and I tend to like them a little bit shorter than that. Well, there you go. Let me know what you think. Right about now, you'll see my logo over there. Click on it, and you'll be able to subscribe if you haven't yet. And I wish you well. Be back soon, and stay safe.